Welcome to your own channel NCERT teaching. I am Dr. Kailash Meena. Today I am going to discuss chapter number 3 of class 8 science, which is reproduction in animals. And in this chapter we will focus mostly about the reproduction in human beings. Although the name is reproduction in animals, because in class 7th science we have studied reproduction in plants. So let's start our chapter. So these are the points which we are going to discuss in this chapter. First thing, modes of reproduction. I think that we have an elementary idea of sexual reproduction and asexual reproduction, because in class 7 science we have learned some few things about gametes and fusion and fertilization. Then sexual reproduction. So there are two major types of reproduction which are called sexual reproduction and asexual reproduction, and very easy to understand. Asexual reproduction means only one parent, very simple. If one parent is involved in reproduction, or one parent is able to reproduce or able to make new creatures like him or her, so that type of reproduction will be called as asexual reproduction. If two parents are required for reproduction, this type of reproduction is called as sexual reproduction, and you can remember by the name of A. A means one. Okay, so asexual reproduction. Next thing, in sexual reproduction, so you can see very easily, understand very easily, that in the most of the chapter, the big part of the chapter will be of sexual reproduction. In this chapter we will discuss about male and female reproductive organs, then fertilization, development of embryo, oviparous and viviparous animals, and young one to adults. Let's see what are these things. One more thing, okay, as I have discussed about the differences between sexual reproduction and asexual reproduction, so here are some points. As I have said that single individual is required, it means one parent is required. Here two individuals of both sexes are required. Next thing, no formation of gametes. Okay, what do you mean by gametes? So if you have remembered something about reproduction in plants, then you must you must be aware about the role of flower. Okay, role of flower. So in flower, what we have learned about pollination, that for sexual reproduction in plants, pollination is required. So why do we require pollination? Because there are female gametes in the ovary of flower, and there are male gametes in the pollen grain. So reaching of pollen from anther to stigma is called pollination. This is what we have learned in class 7 science. So there we learned about male and female gametes in plants, and then fusion of those gametes, and after fusion what we get is fused cell which is called zygote, and that develops into plant embryo. So the same thing is here. In sexual reproduction we need two gametes or two cells. Now you have studied the chapter number 8, which is cell, the fundamental unit of life, or the cell. So we know that everything in this living world is composed of cells. So gametes are also cells, but they are slightly modified cells which have half number of information. Okay, and you have learnt about the nucleus also in chapter number 8, that nucleus have DNA or chromatin which have information. So our body cells, all our body cells have chromatin in the nucleus or some amount of information, but the gametes in our body or in plant's body or in any animal's body have half number of information. Okay, so okay, let me draw that thing also. So we have two type of gametes in humans. One is called male gamete, one is called female gamete. So female parent is making female gametes which are also called eggs, and male parent is making a male gamete which is also called sperm. And we also see sperm and egg in plants. So we see eggs in which part of plant? I think you must remember the ovaries, stigma, style and ovary. So in ovary we have ovules, and in ovule we have eggs. That is the female gamete. And if when it comes to sperm, so if you remember pollen grains in plant, so pollen grains carry sperms. So when pollen grains reach on stigma during the process of pollination, of course, then after pollen tube formation, finally sperms get deposited into the ovule of the ovary. So there they can fuse with the egg. What do you mean by sperm and egg? Sperm and egg are male and female gametes. So this is the essence of sexual reproduction. So in sexual reproduction we need male and female gametes, two type of gametes, and there is no need of gametes in asexual reproduction, because we know that in asexual reproduction we require only one parent, and in sexual reproduction we require two parents. So what those two parents will do? They will make gametes. Again, if we have male and female gametes, they will fuse, and that fusion is called fertilization, and the result of that fusion or fertilization is called zygote. So if there are no gametes in the case of asexual reproduction, there will be no fusion or fertilization. Here you can see fusion of male and female gametes takes place, fertilization occurs to form zygote. No variation is seen in asexual reproduction, lot of variation. Okay, what do you mean by variation? Let me discuss this point also. As I was discussing about cells, that a single cell have a nucleus. If I talk about eukaryotic cell or plant or human cell, and it have information in form of chromatin. Chromatin is what? It is DNA actually. Chromatin is made up of one molecule which is called DNA, very long thread-like molecule, and we have several molecules in one cell. We have 46 molecules. So this DNA molecule have information of what? See, this thing I also have discussed in chapter number 8. If you want to recall, you can check out in the description below. I have pasted the link, or you can check the playlist of class 8 science. So if you first see that video of chapter number 8 cells, then it will be easier for you to understand this chapter. So as I was saying that DNA is the material which have information of making humans in human beings, of making lizard in lizard, in frog in frog. Are you getting my point? So every creature have cells, and that creature's cells have DNA, and that DNA or chromatin or information, because of that information that creature looks like. Okay, for example, cockroach is looking like cockroach because cockroach cells have information required for making a cockroach, and also cockroach is able to reproduce and make more cockroaches because the cockroaches are able to pass that information to their next generation in the same way. So our cells have a double information actually for making one human. So the gametes are also modified cells. So gametes means egg and sperm. Okay, so egg have some information, sperm is also having some information or half information. When they fuse, they make zygote. Okay, so as I was saying that egg is having half information, sperm is having half information. Half means complete, because all rest of the body cells have double information. So you can easily imagine if that there is a diversity in human beings. All humans are different. So if we have two parents, these two parents also have some differences. Male parent and female parent, they have many differences in their facial features or other features, blood groups. Okay, there are so many features to be noted. So if half or if you can understand this way, not half, actually this is complete information, but rest of the body cells have double information. So half information is provided by mother, half information is provided by father, and these two cells will mix, fuse. Okay, then the information will unite. Then we will have a combined information of mother and father for every feature. For example, if we talk about eye color, hair pattern, skin color, blood group, okay, everything. So now we have a cell which is called the fusion product of fertilization of egg and sperm. So this cell is called zygote. What do you mean by zygote? Zygote is a cell, the fusion product of egg and sperm cell in the sexual reproduction. This fusion is called fertilization. So you can easily understand if zygote is having information from both of the parents, from mother and father, so it will generate diversity. So in this way you can understand. Okay, and you will learn more about variation in upcoming classes. Okay, so I hope that you will be able to understand these differences of sexual reproduction and asexual reproduction. So here is some information, more information about these two type of reproductions. Same information. Next thing, male reproductive system. Okay, see, in our body we have systems for all things. In class 7th science we have learnt about nutrition in plants, nutrition in animals, circulation of fluids in body. So there we learnt that okay, we have a system for breathing, a respiration, that is called respiratory system, composed of lungs and bronchus, bronchi, bronchioles, or simply some airways. Then we have a system for digestion of food, which is called digestive system, which is composed of buccal cavity, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, rectum, anus. Okay, so there are many systems. For excretion we have kidneys, ureter, urethra. Okay, so for in the same way, for reproduction we have a reproductive system, male reproductive in male parent and female reproductive system in female parent. So what are the the organs included in male and female reproductive system? Let's see. You can see this diagram I have taken as it is from NCERT, and in this diagram you can see only 3 headings. Okay, so no need to be panic by seeing this diagram. You only need to remember 3 names: sperm duct, penis and testicles. So it is a complicated organ, the male reproductive organ. And the one question is, what will be the purpose of male reproductive system, or what is the purpose of female reproductive system? Simple answer: the purpose of male reproductive system is to make male gametes, and the purpose of female reproductive system is to make female gametes. What are male gametes? Male gametes are called sperms. So purpose of male reproductive system is to make sperms. So male reproductive system have many things. For example, testicle. Okay, there are so many other things also, but they are not included in your syllabus. So these are some ducts and glands. Okay, epididymis, vas deferens, seminal vesicle, bulbourethral glands. Okay, there are so many prostate glands. There are so many glands also, and penis, and this is urethra. What we have learnt in excretory system. Okay, these are ureters, and this is urinary bladder. Okay, so the purpose or the aim of male reproductive system is to make sperms. So these testicles will make sperms. So the site of sperm production is testicles or testis in human reproductive system. So this thing we need to remember. And again, in NCERT textbook we see again diagram of human sperm. Again only 3 parts: head, middle piece and tail. Okay, very simple to understand. when I was saying that okay, sperm and egg, which are called male and female gametes, they are modification of cells. But when it comes to a cell, we remember only this type of cell, circle within circle, which is called nucleus, and there are so many cell organelles also: endoplasmic reticulum, mitochondria, Golgi body. Okay, if you want to learn more about cells, you can refer my previous video of the same chapter, or you can refer your NCERT textbook. So we have many cell organelles in a cell. This is how a typical cell looks like, and this sperm is a modified cell. So how you can uh, compare these two type of cells, because sperm is looking completely different. Very easy to understand. See, this nucleus along with its information content makes the head. So what do you mean by head? Head means nucleus. Plus we have certain cell organelles which are called lysosomes, which have degradative enzymes. This thing I also have discussed in previous chapter. So actually there are some degradative enzymes here, and this part is called acrosome. Okay, no need to remember the names. I am only telling for the information, more information if you want. And then this part is called middle piece. So this middle piece has many mitochondria. Okay, what are mitochondria? Mitochondria are powerhouses of cells. So this middle piece have many mitochondria, and simply this tail have certain proteins of cytoskeleton, or if you remember one name, centriolocentrosome. Centriolocentrosome are some cell organelles which are present only in animal cell, not in plant cell. Again, you can refer the comparison between plant and animal cell in my previous video. So this is how a cell modifies into a sperm, and the function of a sperm is again to provide information to the next generation at the time of fusion. But this tail, this head, okay, this head which have nucleus and acrosome, this middle piece which have many mitochondria, and this tail which have certain proteins. Why it is required? Because the function of male gamete is to reach to the female gamete, then fuse with female gamete, and then after fusion they will make zygote, and zygote will divide. It means it will make more cells. Again, it is about cells. Okay, cell division. Cells reproduce or cells multiply by the process of cell division. So again, sperm and eggs are cells. So after fusion they make one more cell which is called zygote, and zygote will divide and divide and divide, and it will make a human embryo. So this is about the structure of a sperm. Okay, and I was saying that okay, it has some digestive enzymes or degradative enzymes. Those degradative enzymes will help sperm to fuse with the wall of egg. Okay, you will see later. Again, this is a more complicated diagram of human male reproductive system with some more labelings and some more information. If you want, you can take a screenshot, otherwise that thing is not required. I only included because of some extra information point of view. So here you can see this part is called prostate gland. Okay, there are these small parts are called bulbourethric glands. So there are many glands and other things also, and these actually glands help to provide ability to sperms to fertilize the egg. Okay, so this sperm needs nutrition, this sperm needs maturity, this sperm needs a medium to move. So these glands and ducts provides that medium, which is called semen. So this is the function of rest of the parts of male reproductive system. So let's discuss female reproductive system. So again, as we all know that in sexual reproduction we require two parents, male and female, and both of the parents will make male and female gametes, and finally those gametes will fuse, and that fusion is called fertilization, and they will make a cell which is called zygote, and zygote will divide and will make human embryo. So this is the structure of female reproductive system taken as it is from your NCERT. Again, only three labelings are there: ovary, oviduct and uterus. Only three labelings, but you can see there are more detail in this diagram, but that is not required. I only included for the sake of extra information if you want, otherwise you can ignore it. So students, I want to take your attention on one thing, then I will return to this structure of female reproductive system. See, if you know about frogs, okay, frogs have external fertilization. What do we mean by external fertilization? Frogs live in water for some time and they release their eggs in the water, the female frog, and the male frog will also release their sperms in the water, and in the water only, randomly, by chance, sperm and egg will fuse, means fertilize, and they will make a cell which is called zygote. Again zygote will divide and they will make new frogs. So this is how fusion or fertilization of male and female gamete happens in frogs. So you can see this fusion is happening outside the frog's body. This is what we call external fertilization. Okay, so what is the requirement from female's body? What is the requirement from male's body? Only to make male and female gametes. You can understand easily, so that they can make and they can release in water. In water they can fertilize. This type of fertilization is called external fertilization. We need to remember external fertilization. Okay, external fertilization. Next thing, if you remember a household lizard, okay, so household lizard makes eggs inside the body. Eggs means female gametes, and male lizard makes sperms. Then male lizard deposit those sperms inside the female's body. Okay, inside the female's body. So egg and sperms will fuse inside the female's body, not outside, because we know that lizard lives in dry areas, okay, deserts, dry areas, so there is no availability of water, and gametes cannot fuse in dry environment. Okay, they cannot fuse in air because they dry and degrade easily. So that is why this type of fertilization is called internal fertilization, because it happens inside the female's body. Internal fertilization. So what we have learned, external fertilization and internal fertilization. So you can easily think that if a lizard's body require one more thing from female reproductive system. Previously what it required? Only to make gametes. Now it requires a place to fuse or site of fertilization. Next thing, if you remember a cow or a goat, okay, what you, if you have information about cow, goat or any other mammal means the animals which feed their child by mother's milk. Okay, these are mammals. So if you remember cow, so cow is making gametes inside her body, first thing. Then fertilization also happens inside the female's body, and not only fertilization, the development of baby also happening in cow's body. If you remember the lizard, after fertilization lizards lay eggs, birds lay eggs, so those eggs develop outside the female's body. But here what you see, baby is also developing inside the mother's body. So again here we require three things from a female reproductive system. First thing is to make female gametes. Second thing, site of fertilization, okay, place where to fuse. And third thing, development of child also. So if you require three things, there may be three places in the female reproductive system. So simply now let's discuss these three places. Very simple to understand. That is why I discussed these points. So first thing, ovary. In the female reproductive system in humans, ovary, the function of ovary is to make eggs or is to make female gametes. Oviduct, this is a tube like structure here. Oviduct. So oviduct, the function of oviduct is the site of fertilization. So oviduct is the site of fertilization because as I already discussed, because fertilization happens inside the female's body. And third is uterus. Okay, so the final requirement, development of child. So development of child also happens in the uterus. So you will see three labelings, and now I am sure that you all are aware about the functions of these parts also. Okay, ovary, oviduct and uterus. So if I ask what is the site of fertilization, the answer will be oviduct. If I ask what is the site of embryo development, uterus. What is the site of egg production, ovary. So I think I have made this point clear, and here is an elaborated diagram. You can take a screenshot and you can see other labelings also, and with some narrations, so you can easily understand the functions of each part. And you can see this white sphere, this is the egg. So after formation, egg goes into the fallopian tube, and there it fertilized, and then it scroll down to uterus, and then it attaches to the internal lining of uterus for development. Okay, we will discuss this thing also. Next thing, fusion. So when we have male gamete produced from male reproductive system, we have understood, and female gamete produced by female reproductive system, that thing we also have understood. Now, okay, now we know the site of fertilization also, that is oviduct in females, in female reproductive organ. So at the time of fusion, you can see, as I have said, that the tip of the sperm have some degradative enzymes. Those degradative enzymes will help to degrade the layers of the wall of the egg. Egg is also called ovum, singular egg. Okay, it's called ovum, and plural is called ova, and these are sperms. So this is how they fuse. And after fusion, you can see. So I have included three diagrams from your NCERT. This is the diagram of one egg or ovum which have a nucleus. Here you can see fusion, and here you can see two nuclei which are fusing. This is a zygote with two nuclei, but zygote will have only one nucleus after fusion. So there will be one question in NCERT textbook also, how many nuclei present in the zygote. So always remember, zygote will have only one nucleus, not two. Okay, although one nucleus provided by sperm and one nucleus provided by egg, but immediately they will fuse. And when we call this cell as zygote, means two nuclei have been fused. Okay, so very simple to understand. And this diagram, although it is not part of your syllabus, but you can easily understand the size difference. Okay, so you can see the size difference. This is the egg, not a complete egg. You can see a part of egg, spherical, and how small sperms are. You can see comparatively. Okay, this if you are seeing on your mobile screen, this will be this egg will be of 4 or 5 a size of 4 or 5 mobiles combined together, and you can see sperms. Okay, so here this is how you see, these are some degradative enzymes. Sperm head melts the wall of egg, and then it provides its nucleus, and here you can see egg's nucleus, and this is how they fuse. Okay, and you can see the process also if you want. There are some narrations available. You can take a screenshot also, although it is not required at class 8 level. I only included the diagram for better understanding. Next thing, development of human embryo. So again, it is female reproductive system. So if the fertilization happens inside the female body, we need to take consideration female reproductive system again for the development of child also. So you can see ovary is making eggs. Okay, one more thing, see, when ovary make eggs, okay, and egg will go into the fallopian tube or oviduct. In oviduct, what is the function of oviduct? Site of fertilization. What is the function of ovary? To make eggs. What is the function of uterus? Implantation. So when it goes into this tube, and when it get fertilized, it will get attached to the wall of uterus. And if it will get attached, the tiny human embryo, this embryo will need a lot of nutrition, oxygen for breathing, and many more things, okay, antibodies for immunity and many more things. So for providing those things, human female reproductive system needs more blood, because in class 7 science we have learned about the circulatory system, okay, of our body, that blood transports things from one organ to another. That is why it is called a connective tissue. So blood is not only transporting nutrients from intestine to other parts, rest of the parts, it is also transporting oxygen from the lungs, and it is also transporting excretory material to the kidney, and also transporting many things, okay. So blood is a multifunctional connective tissue, liquid connective tissue. So if a human embryo is getting attached with the uterus and it is going to multiply or develop, this embryo will need more nutrition or simply more blood supply. So to fulfill that demand, you can see the thickness of the uterus. Thickness of the internal lining of uterus increases and the blood supply in uterus also increases, okay. One question, students of class 7 8 science: how many children you see nowadays to normal parents, so normal couples, you will hardly see 1 or 2 children, okay. Why? So because of some socio-economic issues, and we humans are taking charge of everything in our life, okay. So we are taking charge of reproduction also. So reproduction is not a thing which you are seeing every day or every month, okay. Let me tell you that these eggs are the ovary is making eggs every month, and testicles are making sperms every week. So you can imagine how frequently male reproductive system is making sperms in male, and female reproductive system is making eggs in female. But by applying common sense and logic, you can know that reproduction is not a thing which is happening every week, every month, okay, or every year. In a female's life, you will see hardly 1 or 2 times or 3 times you will see reproduction. So the point I want to make clear that this egg will not fertilize, okay. Although when we study reproduction, the aim of egg and the sperm is to fertilize and to make zygote, so that zygote can develop into a human embryo. But by applying this logic, you know that no, egg will not fertilize every day, every time. It even actually egg will not fertilize normally. Very rarely it will fertilize, okay, when we see a pregnancy. So if this egg is scrolling down from here to here, and this uterus is preparing for the upcoming human embryo by increasing the blood supply, and as I have said that this egg will not fertilize, so what will happen if it is not fertilized? It will not get attached to the uterus. So what this uterus do with this extra supply of blood? It simply shed down this extra supply of blood, and this coming out of this extra blood which is not required, or the lining of uterus with blood which is not required, it takes 2-3 days. This process is called menstruation, okay. And there are some cyclic changes in the ovary in 1 month, and in uterus also during this the process of making egg, releasing egg, okay, then fertilization or not fertilization, and if not fertilization, then increasing the thickness of the uterus wall and then shedding it, it takes 1 month roughly, or 28 days. This cycle is called ovarian cycle in ovary, and uterine cycle in uterus, okay, ovary and uterus, and the combined cyclic changes are called menstruation cycle, okay. And the coming out of uterine lining along with blood is called menstruation. And this type of cyclic changes we see in females or girls after a certain age, okay, in the age of 13 years, 14 years, 15 years, okay, or 12 years. So that process of menstruation is the landmark, or is the starting of reproductive cycles. So by this process we can know, okay, that female is mature or they have some reproductive cycles, so reproductive cycles have begun. So this time of life of human female is called puberty, okay. And the age of those females or those girls is called adolescence. Okay, we will learn more about adolescence in the next chapter. Okay, or the teenage from 13 years age to 19 years age. If you see the ending word teen, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, so this period is called roughly the teenage or adolescence. And the starting of teenage, you can simply understand. Okay, I am telling in oversimplified way. So the starting of teenage or adolescence is called puberty. So at the time of puberty we see the first menstruation, and this beginning of menstruation is called menarche. Okay, we will learn more about menarche in upcoming slides. And after 45 years of age or 50 years of age, okay, it is not fixed, but after 45 years of age, after several years, this cyclic changes stops. So that time is called menopause. So we can say reproductive phase or reproductive cycles in a female's life starts from menarche and stops in menopause. Okay, and that there is a question in our book also from this information. Okay, we will discuss that thing later. So I hope that I have made some sense. Okay, and we all understood the roles of these three parts of female reproductive system: ovary, oviduct and uterus. And we also learned about some complications, okay, about menarche, adolescence, puberty, menopause and menstruation cycle or ovarian cycle and uterine cycle. And now you know that this is how egg will scroll down. So I was talking when egg will not fertilized, then menstruation happens. Okay, but what if, okay, once in a while if it fertilized, then what will happen? Simple, it will get attached to the uterus and it will develop. How it will develop? Let's see. This is how. Okay, so what is a zygote? Again, zygote is a fusion product of what? Egg and sperm. What is the site of fertilization? The site of fertilization is oviduct or fallopian tube. So ovary will make eggs, it will release egg in oviduct or fallopian tube. Sperms will be deposited in the female reproductive system and they will come in the fallopian tube or oviduct, and there what will happen? The fertilization or the fusion. And after fertilization, what we will get? We get a cell which is called zygote, and zygote will divide. You can see 2 cells, you can see 4 cells, 8 cells, 16 cells and many more cells. Okay, so you can see this embryo or fertilized egg is scrolling down from oviduct to uterus, and ultimately it will get attached in the uterus. The internal lining of uterus is called endometrium, and this embryo will get attached in the internal lining of uterus. Okay, you see there are so many stages of human embryo in fallopian tube. Okay, and there will be one stage which will get attached to the internal lining of uterus. That stage is called blastocyst. Okay, you will learn in your upcoming classes in class 12th if you opt for biology. But why I am telling this name? Because we have a diagram of blastocyst. So this developing embryo is called blastocyst. Okay, the diagram is taken as it is, but the name is blastocyst. We need not to remember. Okay, we need to only understand the process. So I am sure that you understood the process. Again, there are 3 parts of female reproductive system: ovary, oviduct and uterus. Ovary will make eggs. Raising of egg is called ovulation. Egg will go in the fallopian tube and it will get fertilized by the sperms, and after fertilization what we get? Zygote, and zygote will divide and it will make many cells, and it will also scroll down from oviduct to uterus, and then it will get embedded in the uterus, and it will get nourishment by utilizing the blood supply of uterus or the thickening of uterus. Okay, so let's read the information also what is given in your textbook. So now I think internal and external fertilization is very clear to you by taking the examples of frogs and lizards. Internal means inside the female's body. Examples you can see: human, cow, dog, hen. External, very simple information I have discuss this information. Next thing, development of embryo. So as I have said, the embryo starts developing from fallopian tube only. Okay, then it scroll down, again develop, scroll down, again develop, and finally it will get attached to the internal lining of uterus. And again after attaching, it will speed up its progress, because after attachment to uterus it will get a lot of nutrition from the internal lining of uterus, and finally it will get develop into a human baby inside the female reproductive system, which is called uterus. You can see the info. Okay, and the animals which can lay eggs, okay, they are called oviparous, and the animals which give birth to a child are called viviparous. You can easily understand the examples: human, dog, cow, cat. Okay, these are called viviparous, and frog, fish, butterfly, lizard are called oviparous. Okay, the name itself is indicating oviparous and viviparous. Next thing, development of embryo. As I have discussed, I have included more images to for a better understanding. So this embryo actually get implanted, and if you remember one thing, okay, let me discuss that thing, that will be interesting for you to know. See, in our human body, you will see one spot in your belly. Okay, that spot is called navel. Why we got that spot? Actually, from navel initially we connected with the mother or mummy. Okay, you can see here, you can see one thread like structure connected with the internal lining of uterus, and one big disc shaped organ is called placenta. Okay, you will learn in your upcoming classes, class 10th and class 12th, that in uterus, in one, actually the attachment of baby and mama, okay, the outer lining of baby and internal lining of uterus is called placenta, actually a complicated organ which takes the charge to provide nutrition to human embryo and collect excretory materials and more things, also many more things, giving immunity in the forms of antibodies. Okay, so this is how it is connected. You can see, you can take the screenshot if you are interested, although this information is not required. Okay, this is the internal structure of placenta. Again, it is not included in your syllabus. Okay, you can skip it if you don't want. I included only for better understanding. So you can see that this child develops into this. Okay, so in NCERT of class 8 you will see only this diagram. Now here you can see some same information. Okay, I have included because I wanted to show you some original images. So here you can see 4 cells, as I have said, in 4 cells, 8 cells, 16 cells in the oviduct, and finally it will become blastocyst, and it will get attached by scrolling down in the uterus, and then you can see development, again more development, finally you can see some resemblance to human. And it will be interesting to for you that while developing in 9 months, okay, the pregnancy lasts for 9 months. What do you mean a pregnancy? The period when child develops or embryo develops inside the female's body or mother's body. So the pregnancy lasts for 9 months, and these 9 months are also divided into 3 plus 3 plus 3, 3 trimester. What do you mean by trimester? Trimester means 3 months. So in earlier the earlier period of embryo development, it will resemble like fish, sometimes it will resemble like lizard, sometimes it will resemble like a bird. So you will see the series of development also. You will learn in your upcoming classes in class 12th, if you learn about evolution, that this embryo repeats the history of our life. Okay, how we developed, how humans have evolved. Okay, but now it is not required. So let's go over next presentation. So this is the very brief, very oversimplified introduction of human male and female reproductive system, and some information about zygote and embryonic development. Very briefly it is discussed in your NCERT. So this presentation is only class 8 for class 8 students, for better understanding, not to be overwhelmed by this information. You can read, you can stick to your NCERT. So take your NCERT, and what is written in your NCERT, that thing you need to understand, that thing you need to remember. Rest of the things are only for help, for better understanding. So next, in life cycle of animals. So if you know A very simple observation, boys and girls, that elephant's baby resemble to elephant, okay, lizard's baby resemble to lizard, snake's baby resemble to snake, and dogs baby, cats baby, by seeing those chicken, puppies or cubs, you can easily identify, okay, this is a baby of cow, this is a baby of lizard, this is a baby of elephant, this is a baby of tiger or lion. But in some creatures you will not be identify the baby. For example, in class 7th, chapter number 3, fiber to fabric, what we have learned? We have learnt about the life cycle of silkworm. So there, what was true for silkworm is also true for many insects, okay, for butterfly also. So in butterfly and silkworm and other worms, you will see larva, sometimes it's called caterpillar, okay. So larva and pupa phase, so you will see this type of creature. So it will not look like a butterfly, but it will get modified over a period of time, and it will, okay, it will modify and develop wings, and then it will look like an adult moth or adult insect, okay. So this type of, or an frog, if you are aware, although we have not discussed frogs, but if you are aware about frogs, that the baby frog is looking like a fish, okay, baby frog looks like a fish, not a frog, okay. So by looking at baby frogs, you may not be able to identify, okay, these are baby frogs, okay. So this type of development in which the baby is not resembling to the adult, and it undergoes into certain changes, and after those changes it becomes mature or adult. This type of development is called indirect development, and for cow, elephant, tiger, lizard and human, it is called direct development, okay. So you can easily identify the human baby, okay, it is the baby of human, it is the baby of cow, it is the baby of dog, it is the baby of cat. So direct development, indirect development, I think it is very easy to understand. Direct development, baby resembles to adult. Indirect development, baby do not resemble to adult, okay. So here what we need to learn, we need to learn only about the life cycle of frog, because life cycle of insect we have learned in class 7th science. So frog is very easy, egg, then tadpole and then adult, okay. The larva of frog is called tadpole in frog, and the larva of butterfly or any other worm is called caterpillar, okay. So there are certain names of larva. So these are eggs of frog, and we know this, okay, this is an image of eggs of frog, very clear image, okay. So and as we all know that in frogs we see external fertilization, okay. So here are some vegetation in the water, there we see these are eggs, okay. Then they will get fertilized externally and they will develop in tadpole. And one more thing, we will learn in next chapter about some glands, okay, or some, you can say some organs or collection of cells. These glands secrete some chemicals, and those chemicals are called hormones. In chapter number 10 we will learn about that. So one gland is called thyroid gland, it makes one chemical which is called thyroxine hormone. So actually in frogs that hormone is required for this type of development, okay. So this is about the life cycle of frog. It is indirect external fertilization, and we call larva as tadpole, which looks like a fish, and it undergoes into transformation, and that transformation is called metamorphosis, okay, very important term, metamorphosis. So what do we mean by metamorphosis? Metamorphosis is a transformation in what? In frog and in insects also, where we see indirect development. What do we mean by indirect development? Where baby does not resemble to adult, okay. So here you can see some real pictures of frog releasing gametes externally, you can see, and you can see baby frog, eggs and adult frog. Now you can these are some cluster of baby frogs. So now you can see the actual images, and you can understand how baby frogs are different from adult frogs. and here you can see the transformation. This is how we have eggs, then tadpole, early tadpole, late tadpole. You can see this tadpole is looking like fish. It doesn't have any legs or limbs. Now it starts developing legs and it starts developing tail. Okay, actually tail was there, but the shortening of tail so that it looks like a frog. Now it modified completely. Okay, so it is very, you can see very drastic changes. These drastic changes are called metamorphosis. Now final topic, asexual reproduction. So what we have learned till now, in sexual reproduction we need two parents. One parent is called male parent, which provides sperms which are called male gametes, and another parent is called female parent, which provides eggs which are called female gametes. And the fusion of egg and sperm is called zygote, and we see fertilization or this fusion in the oviduct of human reproductive system or female reproductive system. So the fusion is called fertilization, and the final cell we get is called zygote. Okay, but in asexual reproduction what we have only single parent. So if single parent, one parent, one more thing about cells, again I will repeat that if you want to learn more about cells, you can refer my previous video of chapter number 8 about cell structure and function. You can check in the playlist, or you can check in the description below. Now forget about the organism. If we talk about only about cell, how cell will reproduce, how we see more cells? Very simple. A cell will divide and it will make more cells. What do you mean by divide? Actually cell will double its content over a period of time. Okay, cell will double its content. If you say that okay, cell have chromatin or DNA in the nucleus, so it will double its DNA. If you say okay, cell have mitochondria, so it will double its mitochondria. If you say okay, cell have endoplasmic reticulum, rough endoplasmic reticulum, smooth endoplasmic reticulum, and many organelles, so it will double everything. Then it will divide into two parts. Okay, you will learn more about cell division in class 9, 10th and in class 11th and 12th if you opt for biology. But very briefly and in oversimplified way, you can see one cell will divide and it will make two cells. Now here you can see two small cells, but these cells will get mature and they will look like the parent cell over a period of time, and again they can divide. This is how cells multiply in our body. So when our height increases, when our wound heals, then what happens? Actually cell division is happening. Because cell is the basic unit of life. Cell is the basic unit of life. So every process which is happening in living organisms is because of cells. So now we talk about these creatures. So in the living world we have many type of creatures. Again you can refer to my previous video of chapter number 8, which is cell structure and function. So there are some organisms or creatures which are made up of only one cell. These are called single cellular creatures. For example, amoeba. So here you can see amoeba is dividing into two cells or two amoeba. Now if I say cell division or if I say reproduction in amoeba, same thing is here, because cell division means division of cell and making two cells, two new cells or daughter cells. Parental cell is making daughter cells, or here you can see amoeba is making two amoeba, because amoeba is nothing but a single cell or a creature with one cell. This type of creatures are unicellular or single cellular creatures. You can refer to my previous video. Here you can see a small creature, again not made up of only single cell, it is a multicellular organism, but again cell division is required. So because of cell division it develops a bud, and this bud you can see looks like a small hydra. Ultimately it will get detached from the hydra from this point, and it will develop into a new hydra. This type of cell division is called budding, and this type of cell division is called binary fission. Binary means two. If you are aware about some computer, in your computer classes, binary, decimal, okay, these type of words you will hear. So binary means two. So binary fission in amoeba and budding in hydra, we need to remember the process and the example. Okay, very simple to understand. And not only in amoeba and paramecium, we have other examples also. For example, hydra and yeast, examples of budding, and amoeba and paramecium, examples of binary fission. Now yeast will be a single cell, hydra is a multicellular. So budding will be different in both of the creatures. You will learn in more in class 9th and 10th. And final point, cloning. Actually it is not point, it was a box provided in your textbook for extra information. If you have deep understanding of reproduction, then only you can understand the cloning. Very simple. If you want to understand, see, we have an egg which have a nucleus with half information from mother. We also have a sperm from father which also have half information from father. These two nuclei, this sperm and egg will fuse, these two nuclei will fuse, and then they will make a complete nucleus of zygote with complete information. Okay, and with this complete information, this zygote will divide and divide and divide in the oviduct and uterus in female reproductive system. Okay, then it will develop into a human fetus or embryo or child. Okay, this is how human reproduction happens, or in reproduction happens in any animal. Now if you understand the deep information, why we need this fusion, why we need egg, why we need sperm, why egg and sperm have half of information, very simple, because we need complete information in zygote, but because this information is coming from father and from mother, so the child have some diversity, okay, some variation. So what scientists do in animals, not in humans, they simply remove this nucleus from the egg. They simply remove the nucleus from the egg. We have an egg with the nucleus. They simply remove the nucleus with the egg. They remove the nucleus. Without this nucleus, this egg have no information. Okay, because we need information to make a child. Half from mother, half from father, half from nucleus from egg, half from nucleus from sperm. Okay, very simple if you want to understand. Although it is not required in class 8 level. Then they simply put another nucleus from anywhere from body. Are you getting my point? See, in our body cells, what we have nucleus in each and every cell of our body with complete information. You remember egg and sperm, which are called male and female gametes, they have half of information, but rest of the body cells have complete information. So what scientists do, actually in the sheep, they collected sheeps of eggs of sheep, or simply one egg of sheep. They remove the nucleus with half information, and they again put nucleus with complete information from anywhere from body. Okay, and again they provided some chemicals and some situations, you can say, in laboratory conditions to develop this egg, and this egg will develop into a baby of sheep which is called dolly. So the trick here is they collected egg from different animal, and they provided nucleus from different another animal. So the child we got, also the animal we got, which was named as dolly in 1990s. So the dolly resembled not from the sheep who gave birth to dolly, but the sheep we collected nucleus from. Now we know, after understanding of cells, chapter number 8, and after the understanding of chapter number 9, which is reproduction, that okay, every animal, every creature resembles from anybody because of the information. So information is very important. Now you can understand that only mother is giving birth to the child, but babies resemble father also. Why? Because of the information provided from the sperm. So cloning is a application of modification in reproduction. Okay, very simple to understand, but actually it is a very complicated process because it requires so much of expertise and techniques. Okay, you will learn more about cloning in class 12th and class 10th. No need to worry about it. So with these points I conclude this chapter. Thank you so much for being till end, and in my next video I will try to cover chapter number 10 of 8 science, which is reaching the age of adolescence. Till then, take care and bye.